Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's Friday, and it's once again time for the F and Marks podcast. I'm Jay. Brainless one is not here this week. A lot's been going on all over the place. I'm going to go for a short bit here. It has been a very taxing week, and I don't have a ton of bandwidth. So... but we'll get into a couple of things, and we will definitely be back at you next week when we have our Royal Rumble prediction show, and we talk about war games and all that sorts of fun stuff. So anyway, but I figured we'd do a short stream just to remind y'all we're still here, and we will still be doing the podcast. So last Friday, we ended up getting Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. I'm sure everybody and their mother out there wanted to see Iron Mike destroy Jake Paul. Unfortunately, that's not what we got. You could just tell walking down the aisle and at the stare down that this was not Iron Mike. Like, he looked like he had fear in his eyes. There was something, because he used to just stare a hole through the opponent he was going against. When he walked down the ring, he had a stone cold face and would just absolutely, like, you knew he was going to bulldoze somebody. That is not what we saw. We saw all these training videos with Tyson where he was moving really quickly and he's avoiding punches, and we saw like none of that. Absolutely none of that. And he did have a thing on his leg, on his knee. Perhaps maybe he injured his knee, didn't want to postpone this fight a second time, said, well, we're going forward with it. Because he looked pretty darn fast, and he looked powerful in those short, quick little videos that they would send. But like, that is not what we got at all. But what you gonna do? But this certainly was a thing for us as WWE fans, wondering what the Netflix era of the company will be like. We are, like 5.5, 6 weeks away from WWE on Monday Night Raw. And certainly during the peak of the Tyson-Jake Paul fight, which they're estimating there were 60 million people streaming simultaneously. I know I was having streaming issues. It kept on kind of cutting in, cutting out. I had to, for the end of the fight, just go to my phone, because there were times where I would hear the audio, but the video wasn't there. And then sometimes the video would catch up, and then sometimes it wouldn't. Certainly there were moments during this fight that I'm like going, ooh, will this be able to handle, whether it's Monday Night Raw or even the premium live events? Think about it. WrestleMania, where if you already are a Netflix subscriber, you will get that as part of the package if you are an international fan. I think it's entirely possible for something like WrestleMania, we could get somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 million people trying to tune in for that. I have some concern for something like WrestleMania. I don't have any concern for something like Monday Night Raw. Raw is more routinely, at least within the United States, getting, a couple of million people to tune in. Now, if you're talking like an international audience during the live broadcast, it may have bigger numbers than that, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere near what we saw last Friday night with Tyson and Paul. I think we're okay for Monday Night Raw. It's just the larger premium live events, we may see something a little funny happen. But hopefully they have learned from what just happened with this highly hyped fight, and they will actually get their act together so we don't have to deal with streaming issues when they are taking on the WWE content. And I have to say that the women's match that took place before Tyson and Paul was awesome. I think it was Serrano and Taylor. Those women beat the crap out of each other, and Serrano should have won. You know, Taylor kept on leading with her head, very similar to Evander Holyfield back in the day, leading with the head. And if you watch the second Tyson Holyfield match, the one where Tyson bit his ear off, like Holyfield kept on leading with his head, and that's exactly where Tyson ended up getting cut in that fight. But those two women put on a show, and they're estimating that 50 million people tuned in to watch that fight. And it may be the most viewed women's boxing match of all time. Yeah, Chris, Logan, that they had asked Mike Tyson, you know, what's next for him? Is he done boxing? He's like, oh, I don't know. And then just jokingly says, like, yeah, maybe I'll take on Logan. And Logan's like, oh, I'll take you out. You know, again, if Mike was injured and fought injured, and if we got somebody who is at least somewhat close to what we saw in some of those training clips, I think he could stand a chance against Logan Paul. I think he could have beat Jake Paul, but you know, there were a couple of videos out there kind of showcasing some spots where it looked like Tyson could have like landed an overhand right and like shorted it. Like instead of like really fully extending, he like, again, is that old age or was that them playing a game and like, all right, let's make sure neither of us get hurt. We'll both get a big payday. I don't know. I hope it's not that. I mean, like I said, the look in Tyson's face just did not look right as he walked to the ring as he was staring down Jake. So, yeah. Chris Brown, $20 for Tyson and Logan at Mania Night 1. Huh. That could be interesting. So. And on a boxing related note that is WWE related, Elijah Holyfield, son of the real deal boxing Hall of Famer Evander Holyfield, is now a recruit for WWE. You know, he certainly has championship pedigree there. Championship pedigree does not always equal being a great performer. But I guess we'll see with that. It takes a long time for folks to develop in pro wrestling. Some catch on quicker than others. Not everybody's Kurt Angle. I mean, literally, you got someone like Roman Reigns, who it took 8 years of them, you know, just jamming him down our throat before he finally completely broke through. So, again, Elijah Holyfield has a name. He's got a pedigree. Let's see if he could do something. But, so last weekend, Becky Lynch did have an appearance. She was promoting her book, and she was asked about, you know, are we finished with seeing her in a wrestling ring? And her answer was an emphatic no. She said, I'm not going up the way that I went out. I'm still going to wrestle. Very soon after that, there were rumors on the dirt sheets about the imminent return of the man. Where would it make the most sense? I would say the first Raw of the Netflix era would not be the worst idea for it. It's possible she could make a surprise appearance at Survivor Series. But we also have one Charlotte Flair who's teasing a return. She's been out since, I think it was January. You know, here we are almost into December. You know, we could get two of the top female performers in the world, two of the most over performers in the world, returning soon. But I would put my money on Becky returning for that first Raw. We also got the return of Rhea Ripley this past week, and they have now officially set up the Women's War Games match for Survivor Series. Rhea certainly has been through it a bit in 2024, on and off with the injuries, and every time it seems like she gets momentum for whatever's going on, an injury slows it down. But I'll take Rhea Ripley half the time, all the time. She is such a high-level performer, such a great character. Again, it just stinks that we haven't been able to get her as consistently as we'd like to. I think it's really stalled some of the momentum that she and Priest had with their feud with Dominic and Liv. But hopefully the War Games match will re-jumpstart that. Like I was saying earlier, it's been a pretty rough week. Brainless one is not available tonight. So this is going to be just short and sweet, reminding you that we are here, but my bandwidth is pretty small tonight. So just going to go over a couple more things and then probably close this out. Speaking of the first Monday Night Raw of the Netflix era, they have officially announced it will be at the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles. And I am blanking on the name. Something Travis is going to be appearing that night. He's a performer, music performer. But sounds like they're certainly going all out with this. The promos that they have on Netflix teasing Monday Night Raw coming showed The Rock, showed John Cena, showed Roman Reigns. I mean, all the top names in the industry basically were shown there. So maybe we'll get all them night one. There you go. Travis Scott. That sounds correct. All right. And another thing that has happened since our last show is they have decided that they're going to have a women's U.S. championship. As long as they book a women's U.S. championship correctly, I have no problem with them doing it. They've built up the women's division, I think, enough at this point to warrant a secondary title. They announced the brackets for it. We have 4 3-way matches. Then we're going to have the semifinal matches, and then we will have the finals. And in the triple threats, we have Bayley versus Candice versus BFAB. it's been said lately behind the scenes that folks in management are really, really excited and really like what BFAB's been doing. She's really made herself available, and people love her. So I would not discount her in this match. But in my mind right now, Bayley feels like the one that probably will go over in this match. That would be my guess. Then we got Bianca, Chelsea Green, and Blair Davenport. You know, with this, I really, really want them to start pushing Chelsea Green into that next level. I want Chelsea Green to win this match, but we'll see. We'll see. Then we got Jade Cargill, Michin, and Piper Niven in the triple threat match. I think Jade is going to go over in that. I don't know if they're going to try to recreate her TBS championship run, put a title on, secondary title on her, and have her beat Tom in it. I would not be in favor of that at this moment. Then we have Naomi, Tiffy, and Elektra Lopez. You know, Tiffany Stratton has the money in the bank. She can cash in whenever. And she does not need to win this tournament, but dang, I would not mind. I would not mind if we had Tiffany Stratton win this match. Honestly, this is, again, far out prediction without seeing how it all ends up, but I feel like Chelsea Green would really, really benefit by having the title. I think it'd take her character up like another notch or two. Yeah! 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 All right. So there was a article about the top 10 merch sellers so far in 2024 for WWE, and there aren't too many surprises. Just placement of some of these. I'm not going to say completely shocking, but minorly shocking. So, and this is in order. Number 1 to number 10. We got Cody Rhodes as the number 1 merch seller in all of WWE. Number 2, Roman Reigns. I think what they need to do is they need to have like a thing to wet your hair down and make that one of the articles of merch that they could sell. Maybe take Roman up a couple notches. Just saying. Just saying. CM Punk comes in the number 3 slot. Honestly, a little shocked by this. Punk was out a good chunk of the year on injury, but he and Drew McIntyre did such a damn good job of selling their feud, even when Punk couldn't even compete, that he consistently sold merchandise. And, you know, at least for now, I guess I'm eating crow as far as what a disaster it would be to bring CM Punk back. So far, so good. I hope he continues to be a good citizen. I hope he continues to have good matches and put on good stories. But we'll see. After him, we had Jey Uso, main event Jey Uso, who you know, has definitely stepped up. You know, he was a tag team specialist for a decade and a half, and now he was given an opportunity to prove himself as a singles star, and he has really gotten over with the crowd. In some ways, I think he gets a louder reaction than even his cousin at this point, Roman Reigns. Now, will it be consistent? I don't know, but Jay has been just killing it. So good for him. Number 4 merch seller in the whole company. A man who wasn't around very much for the company this year, John Cena, coming in at number 5 position. The dude is just merch seller extraordinaire. He comes back for a month or two, and the stuff just flies off the shelves. At this point, all the people who used to complain about him 5 or 6 years ago and how he was hogging the spotlight, they now have a healthy respect for him, and Cena is, getting ready to bow out gracefully after having one more year on the road. After that, we have Liv Morgan. Again, another one that a little shocked she's even in the top 10, but the fact that she's in the number 6 position and she is the highest selling female, it's good for her. Good for her. She's really just stepped up her game. She has made a character and a storyline that we latch on to, and I'm going to give a good old hockey assist to Dominic Mysterio here. I think him being integrated into Liv Morgan has really boosted her. And she is the only heel in this top 10 list. Now, technically, Roman was a heel at the beginning of the year, but Liv Morgan is the first legit heel on this list. Again, give the hockey assist to Dom Mysterio. Coming in after Liv Morgan is Rhea Ripley, her dance partner for the last several months. Rhea, between the stuff with the Judgment Day, with Dominic, and teaming up with Damian Priest, it's been really good stuff. Great storylines. Again, the injuries have really kind of, I'm not going to say killed the momentum, but stalled out some of these stories, stalled out some of the momentum. More Rhea Ripley, but any Rhea we get is good. Then coming in at 8, LA Knight. LA Knight. Yeah. Number 8 on the merch selling. A lot of people wondered when he started getting the louder reactions if this was just going to be a fad and that the fickle WWE audience would eventually just grow tired of him. You know what? He's been selling lots of merchandise for the last year and a half. Feels like it's a real thing. He's U.S. champ. And I think he still has a few good years ahead of him. Coming in at number 9, the Viper, Randy Orton. Orton really has been a team player in every sense of the word since he's come back. Just, the picture of a professional who knows hey, I don't have to win every match now. I could still be over without going over all the time. I love seeing that. Randy Orton has won enough. His loss to Gunther at Crown Jewel helped elevate Gunther, and then losing cleanly to Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. Again, that's something where he's elevating Gunther, elevating new stars, and he's still in the top 10 for selling merch. It's awesome. I love it. And number 10 is one Damian Priest. Priest, with the Judgment Day and then with the split from Judgment Day, has really come into his own. For me, I wondered what would become of him after the split. It seemed like he benefited greatly by being in the group and Judgment Day didn't necessarily have a leader of the group, even though it seemed like Rhea would have been the closest thing to a leader. But he's done well on his own. He has not needed the Judgment Day, so good on him. You know, a guy who really like wanted to be in WWE his whole life, got there and really has made the best of this opportunity. You're talking about a couple of years ago when he had the match with where he was tagging with Bad Bunny and was told, if you can't make this work, then it's not going to work for you. So like his entire career in WWE was on the line, and Bad Bunny did awesome. And now we get the benefits of that. So very good stuff. Well, like I said, it's been a pretty taxing week, and I don't have a lot of bandwidth. So those are the things I'm going over for today. I'll give a quick good, bad, and brainless, and then we'll close this thing out. All right, so for my good for this week, I'm going with the medical progress that I heard about Jay Briscoe's daughter, Gracie. After the horrific accident which killed Jay, you know, both his daughters were seriously injured. Gracie, they didn't think was ever going to walk again. And that's what doctors kept telling her and her family. Well, not only is Gracie walking, she is able to jog, she's able to tumble, and she is back as a cheerleader. I mean, that pretty dang amazing from like that's coming from a low place and really striving and not letting people tell you what is and isn't possible. You tell me this is possible, and I'm going to jump beyond that. I love it. Love it. All right, my bad for this week, and I think this is something Brainless One and I are going to be able to get into more in depth next week. I just finally finished the Vince McMahon documentary on Netflix. I would say anticipation would be a good word for it. I had so much hope for it, and they told a lot of stuff but didn't go in depth about much of anything. They went about a half-inch deep into the pool. It was cool seeing some of the old videos of Vince, seeing some behind-the-scenes stuff. But all in all, it wasn't great. It could have been, but it wasn't. And I got to go with my brainless for the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. All the hype and really just not much to show for it. I was hoping that Iron Mike was going to be able to turn back time, and he was going to be like Rocky Balboa and go in there and show the younger guy how to battle. And I mean, I've seen some people cut together highlight videos that make it look much better than it was. I mean, Mike seemed like overall was really active in the fight for about 2 out of the 16 minutes. I hope that this was not some like planned dance that the two of them had. I do feel like it was Mike, and Mike was not healthy. I didn't need to see his butt either. Didn't need to see that. But that is my brainless for this week. So, if you like what you've seen, make sure you like, follow and subscribe to us on X, on Instagram, on Facebook, and make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube and set up notifications so that when we are live, you will be notified that we are going live so you could talk about our favorite sport we all love to hate, professional wrestling. But I guess that's about it for the show tonight. And like I said, we'll see you again next week. And we will have our predictions for Survivor Series and talk more in depth about all things pro wrestling. But yeah, that's it. Except for this. Hey, Curtis Axel, what are you doing? What's that? What's that? Oh, he wants me to tell you. Did you know that today, November 22nd, 2024, at an astonishing 3,589 days, the Effin Marks Hall of Famer Curtis Axel is still alive in the 2015 Royal Rumble. Bow, 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 bow. For episode 381 of the Effin Marks podcast, I'm Jay. And also, I'm Jay, and I'm here for the Brainless one. Make sure you mark out with your guac out. See you, everybody. Have a good week. We'll talk to you next time.